Hey, shalom, shalom, shalom. Before I get this lesson started, I want to give all praise and glory to Yahweh by Simeon Shai, by Shemar Kavadash, double honors to the elders and the apostles of the great millstone, and shalom to the brothers who take this truth to the four corners of the earth, bidding the elect spirits of Yahshua to the merits of the Lamb, who is Yahweh Shai. This is your brother Dah. So I'm just going to do this before it gets taken down. I think, I don't know if any of you guys remember the Pizzagate thing. Back, to this day, I don't know how to really fully operate my Instagram. I don't know how to post videos on Instagram, and I've never asked anyone to show me. But I've never it took me a while to understand how you work Instagram for some reason. I'm just not a high tech person. I do remember Instagram being a lot different than it is today. What I mean is, when Instagram first came out, when I first got hip to Instagram, it was around 2015, 2014. And the first thing I noticed was the amount of really attractive girls, you know what I mean? Just supermodel like type chicks that were normal. Girls that weren't on magazines. Now it's so flooded. But I remember I was like, God, man, fucking super hot chicks, man, from South America, Central America, all over, just beautiful, beautiful, outrageous looking girls that I never saw on television before, never saw, in YouTube. That was like, where, these normal looking girls, I mean, these non-famous super hot chicks. That was one thing I noticed about Instagram. There was also another thing that was on Instagram that I think I caught the very tail end of it when the Pizzagate thing came out, because there was a whole network of Edomites. This is white people, dude, that were taking left-handed type occultic pictures of their human trafficking / feast of blood type ceremonial realities, but they were taking the pictures in such a way that it was just enough to show you kind of what they were doing, but not enough to really. You would just scroll past it, not even realize you would be thinking you were looking at some kind of like an artsy, weird photo, not realizing now you're looking at something that's connected. So, like for example, like there were photos of like infant babies that they would put like a stack of, I've seen this photo before, a little baby, I'm talking like months old baby with like a stack of $1,000, a rack on it, a stack of hundreds, like just sitting on the baby. And you're like, what the fuck is this? Like, little weird stuff like that. Drawings, weird drawings of children and or kids, Edomite children standing on their knees with masks on their face, in an arrangement around some type of ceremonial drawing on the floor, like weird shit, bro. But you didn't know. But back in the 2015, 2006, at least for me, motherfuckers were paying attention, but not paying attention at all. Come to find out that there was a whole network of people bragging. They were using Instagram to advertise their network and to boast, but they were doing it in such a coded way, it was going over most people's heads. This lady, man, this is a very long story. She kind of talks too much, but she says she saw videos, literally, of Jeffrey Epstein. Someone had posted some videos of Jeffrey Epstein with children, like little children, and she believes that the videos that she saw were not posted by him, that someone in his circle leaked them onto Instagram back when Instagram was like that. And she saw those videos. She calls the cops, and fucking like an hour later the videos were just erased. And then she said a couple of years later she saw his face on TV when they busted him. She's like, oh, it's the same guy. So listen to her story. I'm just recording this as the scriptures say, man, that the Most High is going to show the world who the man of sin is. And you guys have to understand that no, this is not about, we're not here to blame ship, because like, the so-called white man loves to do this. If they get caught doing something wrong, they always want to point out, well, what about you guys? This is not the spirit of what we are doing. Oh, look what they're doing, just so we can talk smack. You got to understand, in order to pull off this level of sin, this level of wickedness at this height, you have to also be in a position of power. I'm not saying that there are not 2/3 Jakes that do wicked shit. That's not what I'm saying. And when we say 2/3 Jakes, we're talking about 2/3 of our people. Dude, what the cartels are doing, because the cartels, those are Israelites. That's the Northern Kingdom. What the cartels are doing is wicked as shit. What Jake does to themselves in the streets with with the fucking the shooting each other, the black on black crime. That shit's fucking horrible. It's wicked. The state of our women, the proud, unapproachable, refuse to be corrected state of our women is disgusting. They got to be dealt with. The sexual fucking just the promiscuity amongst our people, just running around, just laying down with everybody. It's just got to be fucking dealt with, man. Okay, we're not here to promote sin. We're here to check our own house, to get our own house in order. But dealing with children is an abomination. Dealing with innocence is an abomination. Abortions, human sacrifice, sexual trafficking. You have to have money. You have to have a military. You have to have a position on the earth that's so powerful that when you're doing these types of things, you're insulated from your power, that no one can bring you down because you're the highest ranking person on the totem pole. And right now, who's the global ruler? What race of people own the central banks, loan money to nations? What race of people have the biggest military? What race of people have the most money? Who writes all the laws? Who's leading the planet in the direction of the digital currency, which will lead to the technocracy, which is a rulership through technology that will eventually lead to the MOTB, the mark, the digital all that the scriptures talk about in prophecy. What race of people has the power to bring that about? Who do you see on television talking about all this? You see Bill Gates, you see Elon Musk, you see all these people, right? That are what? They're all the same race. Well, who are they? Who are they in biblical prophecy? And so the spirit, the attitude, the foundation of me recording this lady and what she's saying, it's based on all that. It's to expose who the man of sin is, man. Esau can no longer hide himself. You guys have to see this specific group of people for who they are. So I'm going to let this play, and then we'll be done.
I'm nervous. I saw Jeffrey Epstein having with little girls. Damn, why am I so nervous? I think two things are making me nervous. One, people are going to be like, that's not true. No, you didn't. That's a lie. Let me turn off my car. And then the second thing is just, there's only a few people that I have spoken to this about. And it's been years. This was back in 2015 when I saw this. And I see a lot of the same thing. People saying that they were young girls, not little kids. And I'm going to tell you right now, that is so far from the truth. I saw him with little girls under the age of 10. I have a 10-year-old boy, so I kind of know what a 10-year-old little girl looks like. And I can almost bet my whole entire life on this, that they were at least 7, 8 years old, 9 years old, maybe 10, but I don't think so. I think it was definitely under 10. I'm going to give you a timeline, and then you could just take it for what it is. And then before y'all come in the comments again saying, why didn't you do anything about it? I did. I called the FBI. Well, first let me tell you the story. So this was back in 2015, And this must have been in the beginning of the year. So it happened for sure before April. And the reason I know this is because I was at home. I had just had a baby. My baby was born December 29th, 2014. And he was a newborn. And I know he was a newborn because I'm at home and I had just woke up like in the middle of the night to feed him. He must have been 3 months. So let's just say March or April, around that time. I go on my Instagram and I'm being tagged on a page.
I remember back in 2014, 15, 16, that's when Instagram, I remember there's a really popular, I can't remember her name, really popular, beautiful Latina model that she was young. She was still in high school when she was coming up. She was beautiful, dude, or just out of high school. She had all these photos of her in bathing suits and all these outfits, and she was in another country. And in one of her pictures, she doesn't have a bikini bottom on. I mean, you can see it, you guys. And I remember being in, this is before I woke up. I was, just in the world. I'm like, I was looking at her photos. She was fine as shit. But for all of her photos, she had clothes on, but she was hella fine, really beautiful. In one of her photos, dude, she didn't have a bikini bottom on. And I remember thinking, wait a minute. Because I had a charge, man. I had the police come to my house because this girl that I was dealing with, that was I was dating her. She had a family that they didn't like us partying together and this and that. And I had posted some photos of me and her on Facebook, and they used Facebook to get the cops to come to my house based on the photos they saw of Facebook claiming that we were partying or something like that. And that always stuck with me because I remember when I opened the door, when the cops came, this might be too much information. It turned out to be it was nothing. But the cops were like, well, blah, 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 Facebook. And I'm like, you're telling me you're on my doorstep because of photos you saw on Facebook? Yeah, and that was a shock to me. Come to find out, they were using social media, and now they use social media big time. They'll bust your ass if you're doing shit. But this was before that really became a reality. But I remember when I saw the video or the photo of that girl standing in this very popular Instagram page. She had millions, hundreds of thousands of fucking followers, bro. And I thought to myself, wait a minute. How can she have a picture of her fucking coochie I was like, yeah, she has a lot of video or a lot of photos, but how can she get away with that? And that's what I remember at one of the beginning stages. I was realizing that certain things are allowed for certain types of people. And that made me think, wait, who is this girl that she can get away with that? Because I was starting to think, maybe she's not just a random person. Maybe she's connected to some group. I remember that thought provoked that. Anyways, I saw an Instagram girl who later became a model that her bottom was showing. She didn't have a bathing suit bottom on. Her top was covered, but her freaking thing was showing, and she never ever got in trouble. Her picture didn't get taken, and I remember how odd I thought that is. She's talking about this time of Instagram when it was like that.
And it's a girl that I went to beauty school with, and I hope she sees this because I'm pretty sure she will remember this. She keeps tagging me on a page or someone's video saying like, report this page, right? I go to the page and it's this white man, white grayish hair, and he's recording himself in this house, beautiful house. And one thing that I think that I had in my mind was that when children are being sex trafficked, you think that they're in like these conditions where it's like dirty home or like chained up, tied up. And I think what threw me off was that he's recording himself, full face, everything. He's not hiding at all. And he's showing his beautiful house, and he's also showing 3 little girls, white little girls. They do not speak English. they speak a different language, and they're naked. Am I allowed to say that? Oh my god, I'm so nervous. And he's making them do things to each other, and you'd think, right, that they would be like crying or resisting or not wanting to. And this is where you're not going to be like, well, they allowed it to happen. They're little girls, so that means that they've been conditioned to think that this is normal. Who knows how long he was conditioning them for, and making them do this, right? And I think,
Listen to what she just said. I'm gonna try to run it back, not too far. I wanna suggest something, but listen to what she's saying. I'm gonna run it back just a little bit. I wanna suggest something.
I think the part that was like the most disturbing was that they were going along with it. No, there was no crying, there was no screaming, there was no like torture, there was no and I think that
Okay, why do you think this is? How does an adult man get prepubescent girls, right? Children, youngsters. How does a man orchestrate any person? How does an adult get children to do things in front of him so he can record them where they're fluent with it, where they're not emotionally distraught, they're just going along with what they're with what how does it happen? You have to train, right? Listen, I'm going to use the scriptures. Train a child in the way that they shall go, and when they get older, they shall not depart from it. You guys, that works with anything. Now, the scriptures are not talking about perversion, and the scriptures are not talking about evil, but it works with anything. I remember watching a truther. Some truther was showing clips of videos and stuff, and in one of the videos, and they were talking about this stuff, Pizzagate. In one of the videos, there's this massive shower. You got to have money. It looks like a pool area, but it's a house. It's a mansion. They're in a shower area, and the shower, the ceramic tile on the ground is like the size of a normal house. That's how big the shower or this pool water area is. And there's 3 little white girls. They're no older than 7 or 8. All 3 of them are in sparkly bathing suits. You can't hear them. It's just a video. It's a video recording of them, and the makeup job, dude, the makeup job on all 3 girls was professionally done. Dude, they looked like miniature women, dude. It was, and this guy's got a clip of these girls, and they're just talking to each other. Even their body languages, the way they were walking around, it was different, dude. These were babies. They were in bathing suits in some fucking mansion, standing on top. They were in a pool, like a pool room. And they were in a room that's right before you go into a pool or a shower, because it was all ceramic tile on the ground. And it was really nice. The walls were really nice. They were somewhere where it was wealthy, and it was huge. And they all 3 had bathing suits on, and they all 3 had makeup done to their face. There's no way they did their own makeup. And it was like professionally done. And they're just walking around in this area with this camera recording them, and they're just talking to each other. You can't hear nothing. There's no sound. But their body language and their movements are just, they're comfortable as shit. They're not fucking crying. They're not freaking out. Why? My question is how and why. How do you think that is? Listen to what she says, and I'm going to give you guys a suggestion.
they allowed it to happen. They're little girls, so that means that they've been conditioned to think that this is normal. Who
Right there.
knows how long he was conditioning them
And
for?
it's not just he.
And
It's a system. There's a system. There's a network. There's a very intelligent, wise, ancient network of adults who understand how to just start these children from day one up into the situation.
making them do this, right? And I think the part that was like the most disturbing was that they were going along with it.
They were going along. Why?
there was no crying, there was no screaming, there was no.
And that's because that's normal. You take a normal child, you take a normal 9-year-old, a normal 7-year-old, a normal 5-year-old, you just snatch them. What are they going to do? The normal human thing. What the fuck are you doing? I don't know you. Where am I at? I miss my mom. I miss my dad. I miss my home. They're all the normal. I'm hungry for my specific snack that I eat every day at 5 o'clock when I'm with my mom. All these normal things that children would react to. How come these children aren't reacting? You got to ask yourself that. And this I want to suggest this. I'm going to come back to this video, but this is what I'm going to suggest. There is a network. There's a fucking network. There's a network of human beings, and it goes into, you know where I'm going. Wisdom of Solomon. Wisdom of Solomon. Look, this is the network. You got to look into the scriptures. This is where we're able to see. So Wisdom of Solomon 3 down to 6. For it was thy will to destroy by the hands of our fathers both those old inhabitants of thy holy land. Verse 4, whom thou hatest for doing. The Most High hates these people for what? For doing most odious works, hateful works of witchcraft and wicked sacrifices. Now, these next two verses gives you a peek into the networking, to the structure, to the system of this functionality. You have to have systems. You have to have adults. You have to have people involved to get these works to accomplish. They don't just happen on their own. You know, the scriptures say he does a diligent search and the heart is deep. And they say, who sees this? I'll pull that one up next. Verse 5. And also those merciless murderers of children. So these have to be adults. These are adults that are the merciless murderers and devourers of man's flesh. So these are adults that their minds are so depraved they can kill children and they can eat human flesh. That's that. What do you think? Adrenochrome, drinking adrenochrome, harvesting adrenochrome, afflicting a child, torturing a child to the point where their blood is so soaked and gushing with adrenaline, and then they slice the child's throat and collect the blood and then drink it and get high off of the adrenaline. That's consuming that's consuming man's flesh. That follows under that category. Okay, and also those merciless murders of children and devourers of man's flesh and the feast of blood. Now, this next one shows you the system and the network. And with their priest out of the midst of their idolatrous crew and the parents that killed with their own hands souls destitute of help. So you have a religious system, and then you have parents and you have breeders. You have people who have sex with women in these orgies. You have moms and dads that are involved with these priests, that they conceive. They have children on purpose and they hand them over. If they don't sacrifice them, if they don't devour them, they hand them over to be brought up into this system, right? And then from day one, 6 months, 1 year, a year and a half, 2 years old, 3 years old. I believe I heard somewhere that the Illuminati considers a 5-year-old child an adult. Well, why would they say that? Because whatever ceremonies they have them operating in, they're visiting, they're visually seeing human sacrifice. They're a part of orgies. They're brought up they're educated in a system that they're indoctrinated so that by the time they get to the age of what you see in this video, what you hear this woman explaining in this video, because that's a detail she realized. She's like, why aren't these little girls crying? It doesn't make it okay. Okay, it doesn't.
I don't know why I'm nervous. I'm home, and
it doesn't make it okay. But how does a 7-year-old, how does a 6-year-old girl, how does a 9-year-old girl, how does a 5-year-old, how does an 11-year-old girl get to the point where she can be around a grown man naked, and the minute he gives out a command, she automatically goes into it like you're not even supposed to know what to do at that. Come on, you guys, think about this. We don't know shit when we're that age. We're learning how to play. We're learning how to read. We're barely learning how to ride a bicycle at that age, how to play board games and shit, how to fucking play video games, not how to operate on a physical sexual level when our hormones, dude, girls' hormones, boys' hormones, they're not even operating. That chemistry is not even taking, that type of chemistry is not even functionable yet in the brain. Now, I've heard of occultic practices where they can stimulate it get it started prior by doing weird shit. But normally, children, babies, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, that's not only are you not thinking it because it's not time, that chemistry hasn't been awakened in your brain yet. So it's just not going to happen. That you're not thinking sexual. In most normal cases, you're not. So how does a child know how to take orders or direction from an adult in that manner? They have to go through a system to learn it. You see, this is deeper. This is fucking so much more. I wanted to play this because she's a witness. This is showing you that there's so much more than just them snatching children. There's way more intelligent, premeditated intention involved in this, because there's different levels of knowledge these children are walking in based on how much they've been indoctrinated. Then how they started. You got the children that have just been taken off the streets. Those ones are going to be the ones that are going to be crying. They're going to be freaking out. But how do you have 3 girls sitting in a room with a guy and they're not crying for the mom? In fact, they're doing whatever he's telling them to do, and he's riding on them, and they're just chill with it. Those particular girls, they were brought up in this system, like it says in Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 12, verses 6. That's what I wanted to suggest.
He's showing his beautiful house, and he's also showing 3 little girls, white little girls. They do not speak English. They speak a different language, and they're naked. Am I allowed to say that? Oh my God, I'm so nervous. And he's making them do things to each other. And you'd think, right, that they would be like crying or resisting or not wanting to. And this is where you're not going to be like, well, they allowed it to happen. They're little girls. So that means that they've been conditioned to think that this is normal. Who knows how long he was conditioning them for and making them do this, right? And I think the part that was like the most disturbing was that they were going along with it. No, there was no crying, there was no screaming, there was no like torture, there was no and I think that's where my heart was just like, oh my God.
And so that shows you evidence that they have been trained up. Train up a child in the way that it shall go, and when he gets older, he will not depart. So a lot of these girls and these boys, if they make it through this system and they don't end up sacrificed or murdered, what do you think they become? They become just like the adults that were involved in doing things to them. They become part of that network, and then they go into systems. Some of these kids, man, they get high-ranking positions in this system because they're basically a part of the family. Can you see where I'm going with that? I'm not trying to normalize this shit. I'm not trying to condone this shit, you guys. I'm trying to show you how you got to understand the adults that are involved in this. It's way more than just random impulsive snatching of children. This is a fucking system, and you have to have power. You have to be positioned on the earth as a powerful group of people. You have to have been in power for a long time, have money, have control over the media to do this level of darkness without someone coming in and saying, what the fuck are you guys doing? So what other race of people could pull this off is what I'm trying to show you. Are all people involved? At some levels, there's other people involved. Yes, there are. But who sits at the top of this, you guys? It's a specific race of people, and that's the man of sin. That's the so-called white man, the biblical Edomites.
Like, how long has he been doing this for, right? Obviously, I don't know who Jeffrey Epstein is. I just know that I'm watching a white male, older, obviously. He has white hair. His face is very distinctive. I made sure that I saw his face over and over and over again because I knew that the page would eventually be reported and be gone, and I wanted to be able to describe him. And as I'm watching all the videos, I'm not watching them completely. I'm mostly trying to see him and what he looks like. And he's just so, like, not giving up, you know, like he's really recording himself. I didn't look at the little girls as much because I just felt disgusted. I didn't want to look at them. But I wanted to make sure that I didn't forget his face, right? And there was a lot of videos. I think there must have been like 10, 15 videos. And each video just got worse and worse. And he was literally with each little girl. One of them.
So he literally he yeah, he did the actual deed. That's what she's saying, bro. And again, those girls were, listen what I'm saying, this is graphic. Those girls were functionable. They were what I mean by functional, they were mentally, emotionally able to function at whatever level you can at that age. So what does that tell you? There's a system of adults that took those little babies and trained them up to be able to operate that way. That's what I'm trying to show you. And that takes time. That takes study. You have to have data. You have to repeat certain things over and over and over to fucking get to this point. And you have to have money, and you have to have power and protection so that you can pull this shit off at this level. And there's only one race of people on the planet. I'm gonna tell you right now, ain't no group of black, so-called black men and Latino men gonna be able to pull this shit off. Are there black? Yeah, because there's a video of fucking Jay-Z coming out of a hotel room, and there's a white girl that's about 7 years old, and a very exquisite. She's wearing a dress, and she has her hair done up, and her fucking face got that professional makeup done to it, and she's sitting in the middle of the room, bro. There's like 2 or 3 of them, white girls. What are fucking little white girls that are not even teenagers, dressed up with makeup? What are they doing in a room full of a bunch of men? Because Jay-Z's connected to that shit. But what's that net? Who controls that network? Does Jay-Z control that network? No, Esau does. But people like Jay-Z that are so-called black, they get involved in that shit because they're dealing with who? They're dealing with Esau. And the higher up you go, that shit starts to become a reality.
He wrote with the Sharpie on her bottom part, insert here. Oh my gosh, just disgusting things. His house, the only thing I could remember about his house were staircases, and the lights were really like yellow and bright, and his couches were like a beigey color, very like antique color, or antique looking. The floor was like marble. I can't remember a lot. He had a chandelier. I do remember that. He didn't have a shirt on. And, all right, so we're going to fast forward to what I did. I called my local police station first. I let them know what I was seeing on the page. And they put me on hold, and they said, let me...
And this also shows you that the so-called judicial system of the so-called white man, you can see it. It's broken down in Wisdom of Solomon chapter 2. Their laws is only to oppress us. But when it comes to them being brought to justice, they're the wicked. So they're truly a lawless people. Listen to this.
Connect you to the FBI. Mind you, this is all at like 3 a.m. They connect me to FBI. I speak to a man, and I'm pretty sure all of these phone calls are being recorded, right? So, hopefully, if they do go back and look for a phone.
See how she just said that? They have all this evidence, bro. Yet they're still talking about we got to bring out the Epstein files. What does this tell you? This specific race of people is the man of sin. The man of sin is not an individual. half fallen angel, half fucking human being person that's going to take over the world, like fucking Renaissance Western Christianity says. The man of sin is the revelation of who Esau Edom is on the earth, and that is the so-called fucking white race. That's what the man of sin being revealed means, because Esau has been hiding himself. The other prophecy, Esau shall no longer be able to hide himself, right? And the mark of Cain. Okay, you got to understand reincarnation too, because Cain comes back as Esau. The mark of Cain is twofold. It's non-melanated skin on a solar-blazed planet. They're the only race that doesn't have melanin on the skin, which is a marker. It's an identifier. It's a warning. And there's a supernatural element that has been holding the wicked for the last day of judgment. This is why they haven't been brought to justice yet, because the Most High has reserved the wicked for the day of the Lord. You have to understand the precepts. This is why so-called white people have been getting away with shit. It's prophetic, but it's also a testament to their own wickedness. They're hypocrites. They don't judge themselves the way they judge us, which is what? Respecter of persons.
Call that was recorded. I could even give him my old number because I remember my old phone number.
Look at all her. She's just covering this woman is a witness, man, and yet she hasn't been brought forward, right? She's on TikTok giving her testimony. So this is the Most High using this to reveal this man.
And I spoke to him. I reported the whole entire thing. He told me to tell people to stop reporting the page because they were trying to track down who made the page and who was trying to expose this person. Because I don't think that he made the page and was posting it for himself or for people. I think somebody took the videos and started posting them to expose him. So I did just that. I went back on Instagram. I started tagging all the people that were like reporting the page, telling them don't report the page. I know it's disgusting and you don't want it on here, but don't report the page because they want the page up so that they can get some IP address, see where the page is coming from. And within maybe 5 minutes after this phone call, the page was gone. Okay. We're going to fast forward to when Jeffrey Epstein got caught. I forgot what year it was, but I know it was like a few years after this.
So she saw the video on Instagram. On Instagram, you guys. This is how proud, this is how boastful, how wicked Esau Edom and his system is. And then what, 2019 is when they said they caught him. So she saw it a couple years later.
His face is on the news, and my heart sank. When I saw him, I was like, I know this man. I've seen this man before. I've seen him because I remember his face was just so, And I've been carrying that with me for a long time. The only people that know about this are like 3 friends of mine. And I remember for that whole entire year, I could not sleep at night. I would cry every single night, especially having a newborn and you're already going through things. And then when he got caught, I just thought like, yes, they caught him. But I just remember thinking like, I've seen you do this. I've seen you do this. You're a disgusting human being. And watching people say like, they were just 14-year-old girls. I'm like, no, they were not. When all of this comes out, you guys will learn that it was not 14-year-old girls. It was beyond that. And yeah, that's practically what I saw. So I hope that nobody comes on here and tries to tell me otherwise, because I know what I saw. And that's that.
Okay, so look, let's get the man of sin being revealed, and Esau shall no longer be able to hide himself. The man of sin, the man of sin. See, people read this and they think it's an individual person. No, it's talking about a race. It's talking about the border of wickedness, Malachi 1, verses 3 and 4, okay? 2 Thessalonians 2:3. Let no man deceive you by any means, for that day shall not come, except there come a falling away first. And this falling away first is talking about the Hebrew Israelites and the Hebrew Israelites only, that we would discontinue from our heritage, that we would get to the place of captivity and scattering, that all 12 tribes would no longer know who they were. And that the furthering the completion of that would happen during the transatlantic slave trade with the tribe of Judah in America, and what Esau did to the Native American Indians, to the Northern Kingdom Hebrew Israelites that he found in South and Central America and over here in Mexico and America, and then with the tribe of Judah with renaming us as black and Indians, and then physically beating the shit out of us and forcing us to speak English and to take away our identity. Why? So then they could pull off the 1948 State of Israel, the Balfour Declaration, which is the controversy of Zion mentioned in Ezekiel 36. You got to understand all this. It's not talking about Christianity in America, Renaissance, white Jesus Christianity, and everybody fucking starting to backslide. That's how they teach that. That's bullshit. It's talking about the Hebrew Israelites falling away, not fucking white Christians falling away. Let no man deceive you by any means, for that day shall not come except there be come a falling away first, and the man of sin be revealed, the son of perdition. This lines up with Esau shall no longer Esau. I have made Esau bare. I have made Esau bare. All right. I have made Esau, this is Jeremiah 49:10, but I have made Esau bare. I have uncovered his secret places, and he shall not be able to hide himself. Looks like a secret place. Looks like a major secret place to me, huh? Pretty big secret, huh? The human trafficking and the entire network of adults, the money, the technology, the study that goes into this shit to make to where you can have 7-year-old fucking girls be able to take a command from an adult man sexually and they know what to do. How do you get a child to even get to you? Do you understand how much it takes to train children just to do normal shit? You got to teach them how to tie their shoes, how to wipe. You got to literally teach a child how to wipe its own bottom, right? How to change its own clothes, how to go to the bathroom. I remember my mom showed me how to wash my own clothes when I was a kid. You know, I mean, that little, but you got to be shown what to do. You got to learn how to read and write. They got schools of fucking left-handed occult knowledge that they got these children being brought up in, so that they can be these harlots and these whores, both boys and girls, to these adult men and women. You got to train that shit. You got what's the precept? They do a diligent search. He does a diligent. He does a diligent search. Let me see. The heart is deep. I think it's in Psalms. Yeah. They search out iniquities. They accomplish a diligent search. Both the inward thought of every one of them is them, and the heart is deep, going into the mind, going into the left hand, fucking practices adrenochrome, bro. That's a deep search. You got to do studies on what is adrenaline. What is that? It's a chemical. What happens? It's released during trauma or flight or fright. It's a protective mechanism. It's a chemical that gives you strength and power, right? And numbs your body so you can survive. They fucking learned how to fucking make the body excrete this shit so they can fucking drink it. This is what that is, bro. It's talking about these motherfuckers, bro. A Psalm of David. Hear, oh, my voice, oh, power, in my prayer. Preserve my life from fear of the enemy. Hide me from the secret counsel of the wicked. Who is the wicked, you guys? Esau, Edom. They are the border of wickedness. The so-called fucking white man. From the insurrection of the workers of iniquity. Don't you think human trafficking is a fucking work of iniquity? You have to labor to get it to where they have it today. That is not just random. This is a fucking network. And the fact that they're going out of their way to hide it and cover it also tells you it's all of them. It's fucking all of the Democrats and the Republicans. It's all of Hollywood. It's all of the bankers. And it's all the Edomites, the so-called white people, with a couple of fucking 2/3 Negroes who've made a covenant with death sprinkled in there. But this is the so-called white man who wet their tongues like a sword and bend their bows to shoot their arrows, even bitter words, that they may shoot in secret at the perfect. That's talking about the Israelites. What do? They have you guys convinced, okay, Bill Cosby, Diddy, and what's his name? The singer, R. Kelly. Okay, wicked niggas. They made a covenant with death. They got their punishment. But what did they do? They made sure you saw Bill Cosby. They then pulled out fucking R. Kelly and then fucking P. Diddy. Why? To make us the face of human trafficking. When this is their network and this is their fucking kingdom. Ain't no so-called black man running shit in a fucking Edomite world, bro. Yes, those niggas are wicked and we fucking hate what they did, but do you see what they did? That they may shoot in secret at the perfect, suddenly do they shoot at him, and fear not. And it also is talking about us, just our image. They want the world to be convinced that the so-called black man, brown man are the reasons for the problem on the earth. Well, no, they're the man of sin. They encourage themselves in an evil matter. They commune of laying snares privately. This goes into the way they write their laws. This goes into their media, their accusations. They say, who shall see them? Why? Because they're so high and lifted up, no one's going to fucking stop them. They search out iniquities. They accomplish a diligent search. Both the inward thought of every one of them and the heart is deep. But the Most High shall shoot at them with an arrow. That's what you see with these girls. That lady that just did a witness with the prophets and the prophecies, the chariots, the mighty ones and the chariots are supernaturally driving around in the sky, making shit happen, man. But the Most High shall shoot at them with an arrow. Suddenly shall they be wounded. So they shall make their own tongues to fall upon themselves. There goes your revelation of the method, and there goes all the Edomites and our people that are talking about what the fuck they're doing now. This is all prophecy. So they shall make their own tongues to fall upon themselves. All that see them shall flee away. Verse 9, and all men shall fear and shall declare the work of the Most High, for they shall wisely consider of his doings. The righteous shall be glad in Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai, and shall trust in him, and all the upright in heart shall glory. When it's all done and said, and Yahweh Shai comes back and puts this fucking race of people down because they need to be put down, the whole earth will be like, damn, yeah, these motherfuckers were bad. It wasn't some of them. They all got to be put down. They cannot rule anymore, you guys. So I pray that this lesson was edifying. No, but that's what I... Okay. It's a kind of a tough subject, but when I saw the video, I was like, I got to do this now because this video is probably going to get taken down. So I was like, let me do a report. So I want to say Salakia for the personal information I divulged and maybe talking about this topic a little too graphically, but this has to be brought out. We have to see this for what it is, you guys. It's a very hideous work. It's shameful, man. This is bad. It's not cool. You guys, as adults, we shouldn't be having this fucking conversation. I shouldn't be having to go into the video. I shouldn't be having to do a video and then go into Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 12, verses 3, 4, 5, and 6, and then explaining in detail from a revelatory perspective and lining it up with this woman's witness of what she saw. She did a good job. She did a great job at telling you what she saw. We shouldn't have to be doing this. But why are we doing this? What does the scripture say? When the wicked are in rulership, and I'll stop it with that. When the wicked are in ruler, and this goes again into Esau. When the wicked are in rulership, the people sigh or something. Rulership, the people mourn. What do you think? You don't think child sex trafficking is a mournful thing? The people mourn? Yes. Dude, this is horrible, man. When the righteous are in authority, the people rejoice, but when the wicked beareth rule, the people mourn. And who are the wicked? Who are the wicked? Malachi. They shall call them the border of wickedness. The border, and this is going into Esau, man. You guys, look, Malachi 1 and 4. Whereas Edom saith, we are impoverished, but we shall return and build the desolate places. Thus saith Yahweh of hosts. They shall build, but I will throw them down, and they shall call them the border of wickedness. A border identifies a nation from another nation. That's what separates a nation from another nation. So this race of people, the Edomites, are the wicked. There's not everybody's bad. Who put that lie into society? Oh, there's good and bad people in everyone. Not according to this precept right here. Edom is the border of wickedness, and they got to be brought down. So I pray that this lesson was edifying. I want to give all praise and glory to Yahweh B'Hashem Yoshai. Bahai Shemar Kagadash, and double honors to the elders and the apostles of the great millstone of whom I learned from. This is your brother Radash, Shalom.